on to an interesting one. Best Actress. Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter. Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers. Kristen Stewart for Spencer. Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And Nicole Kidman for Being the Ricardos. So I'm sure we have thoughts. First, I'm going to say, Kristen Stewart. I love Spencer. I love a movie about a woman going batshit crazy. It's like my favorite genre. I thought she was great in that, and she was like out of the race. She got the Golden Globe, which I guess is like canceled or something. I don't know. And then she was out of the race, and she was back in. I'm all in on Pablo Larraín, except for Lazy Story. That was just fucking weird.
Kristen Stewart is a phenomenal actress, and she definitely deserves being nominated at the Oscars. 100%. Because a lot of people just kind of are like, oh, she was that lady in Twilight who never smiled. She sucks. But when you actually explore her other movies, she's a very good actress. And she does give a good performance here.
I know Spencer, some people love it. Some people are like, what the hell was that? And I was kind of both the first time I saw it. The score and the costume design were both worthy of an Oscar nomination. Trevor actually has a funny anecdote. I went to the restroom, and he told me that he overheard these two women talking, and they were like, oh, honey, your husband cheats on you. Look at those outfits. Boo-hoo.
Yeah, boo-hoo. I remember that now.
It's hilarious. The costume design, great. Cinematography, great. And I honestly think Johnny Greenwood's score for that movie was the year's best.
Did he do the score for Power of the Dog?
Yeah. So he was recognized, but for the wrong movie. I will say, I was surprised by Jessica Chastain.
Oh, Jim.
Oh, Jim.
Oh, Jim.
When we saw that movie, I was like, that's a total Oscar performance, but I could see them saying, that was a bit much.
Yeah, I think they were like, oh, you're trying too hard, but I guess she did a little bit enough.
The last scene of that movie, I think, is brilliant. And it's the only scene in that movie that I think is brilliant. I enjoyed the whole thing. I really don't like the first, 35 minutes. Yeah, it's kind of rough. But once I got, hooked on it, I was like, okay, this is a gripping little yarn. I guess Nicole Kidman is the front runner. I would die for her. Remember, she was in the movie To Die For. But in my
I've
heart...
got my eyes wide shut on her being...
I'm very stuck on this cold mountain over here.
I can think of at least Paddington performances that I would have noted better than Nicole Kidman being the Ricardos. I guess I'm in the minority.
In my heart, this nomination is for Big Little Lies and The Undoing, but she is somebody who should have 2 Oscars. I don't think this is the movie.
And whatever Nicole Kidman thought she was doing by not really playing Lucille Ball, but playing Nicole Kidman as an actress in a movie from the 50s. That's what it came off more. It wasn't Lucy, in my opinion. Like the mean-spirited stuff, that was Lucy. I understand from looking up the backstory stuff. That was Lucy. So I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying she doesn't have the comedic skill of a Lucille Ball.
It's true. She doesn't have the same comedic
She is not
Lucille Ball.
funny very often.
It's true. She doesn't.
Remember Just Go With It?
She's not physically funny.
Felt like she was in a different movie.
And Lucille Ball is one of the funniest actresses that we've ever had. And Nicole Kidman is one of the great actresses that we've ever had. But it just doesn't play correctly. I don't see it at all. Nominated for this, let alone winning, which will piss me off even more when she does win.
I will say that I believe Olivia Colman is the best of these.
Jessica Chastain being nominated for Tammy Faye. Jessica Chastain is a great actress. She's had some kind of weird recency stuff where she's in some weird projects, I understand.
Oh, like the 355.
Which was her best performance in a month. That's the best thing I've seen her in a month. So fantastic.
In a month?
Yeah, just absolutely incredible what she pulled off with that. But in the Tammy Faye, and I get that it's played comedically and that was the direction she was given, but it comes off as insulting to the audience. They're just talking down to the audience. They act like they're superior. You can just sense the whole screenwriting, everybody in the screenplay, and Michael Showalter in his direction. You can just sense them laughing and being like, haha, anybody who fell for this is stupid as shit. So, they're just talking down to everybody in that group, and I realize there are plenty of people in that movie that are portrayed that did horrible stuff. So that is not what I'm saying. But that's basically what it is. But, however, I completely agree with Christian that the final scene of the movie is fantastic. It is the only scene in the movie where you can sense that they're actually trying to tell you something about this story on any way that is real. And it's mostly done by Jessica Chastain's performance. So I can see that reason as being nominated. However, I don't think you can really nominate something that there's only one real scene that you can point towards, like, phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I just want to kind of highlight some that weren't really in the discussion. In The Heights, I think Melissa Barrera is fantastic in that movie, and I know she wasn't really in the awards talk, but I think she deserves to be up there. I think Jodie Comer in The Last Duel, you could argue maybe that's a supporting role, but at the same time, she's pretty much the story there. So I have her nominated for the Best Actress. She's never been nominated, so I feel like it would kind of give her recognition.
That movie was just done wrong in general. I don't like. There's always this narrative in terms of the Oscars where it didn't make enough money, but it shows none of them made money. Why was The Last Duel not recognized?
West Side Story's made like $30 million.
And the movie's great. I love it. My friend here thinks it's fine just the way it is. But
and then the other one, I'm not some obsessive fan of Lady Gaga, but she deserved it. I mean, did she deserve to win? You could argue no, probably, because maybe she was having too much fun, so she's not allowed to.
You're a little Monstar, we know.
In terms of, I am kind of growing. It is growing on me. But back in the day, I was not a Lady Gaga person, but after A Star Is Born, yes, Lady Gaga, sure. Woo! So I think she should have been nominated. Now, do I think Olivia Colman is still better than her? For sure. But I think Lady Gaga has an enormous ball in the role, and that is 100% why I believe she was not nominated, which is ridiculous. Like, Al Pacino is my favorite actor of all time, and part of the magic is he can do subtle, but also he's one of the best at just doing whatever the hell he wants and being over the top and having a damn good time. And it's only right that he's also in House of Gucci with her to support my point.
The thing about House of Gucci is that movie is like, at times it's like a cartoon, but it's so entertaining. I thought that snub was dirty. I actually have been a Lady Gaga fan for a long time, unlike y'all posers. I was surprised, and I think it's dirty because Lady Gaga was nominated at every major award show.
Every year, they're like, you can come perform.
Yeah, exactly. You can sing The Sound of Music again, which, God, that was fantastic. So, yeah, Gaga and Haim, a lot of Haim for Licorice Pizza. I think they should have been cracked in there. I was pleased for Penelope Cruz. She kills it. And it's a shame that Spain didn't submit that movie.
That's crazy, yeah.
So, the nominees for Best Actor are Javier Bardem for being the Ricardos, Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom, Will Smith for King Richard, Benedict Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog, and Denzel Washington gathering his 10th nomination for The Tragedy of Macbeth. I think we could have done better. I'm not a Tick Tick Boom guy. Love Andrew Garfield. He's just wonderful. I liked him in 2 other movies that came out this year. Those being the aforementioned The Eyes of Tammy Faye and the best movie of the 3, Spider-Man No Way Home. I think he could have easily have gotten in there, if I'm being honest with myself. Yeah. And I also love Javier Bardem, but again, this will not be a highlight reel. I love that him and Penelope Cruz are up there. I think that's just wonderful. We've actually talked about their marriage on a previous episode. Did you really see all of the nominees? Like, did you see all the contenders, guys? I mean, Nicolas Cage for Pig, Simon Rex for Red Rocket, Oscar Isaac for The Card Counter, Matt Damon for Stillwater, Joaquin Phoenix for Come On, Come On. I think all of those are great performances. You could have at least swapped out 2 of those. I am on board with Cumberbatch, Smith, and Washington.
Javier Bardem, of course, he's a person that was real and was actually kind of bad. And so they were like, hey, you know, he was a little bit angry and sometimes, and he also was happy and funny, so he gets the nomination. And then with Benedict Cumberbatch, I actually think he has a good chance of maybe stealing this at the very last minute, and people are gonna be like, "Oh wow, they really like Power of the Dog," and Benedict Cumberbatch is just gonna take it. And I don't think it's gonna be Jesse Plemons, but I think it's gonna be him and the McPhee guy. I think they might both be walking hand in hand into the sunset. If you watch the movie. And then Andrew Garfield, he's pretty good in the movie. I know that he did all the real singing, which I appreciate, because some people that win Oscars don't do the real singing, and we're not the biggest fans of that, tiny fans. Andrew Garfield, he's very charismatic in that movie, and I know I like it a little bit more than Christian, and I appreciate the hard work you put into it. And I'm not even a theater kid, but I know that he put in some serious work, and he actually sang.
That's true.
Yeah.
I admire the performance. The movie just, I don't really like the songs in it, and it's over 2 hours of it, and I also just thought the whole movie was, I'm not famous, written by a famous person, and it just kind of got under my skin.
I don't think there's necessarily a bad performance on here other than Javier Bardem. I don't love in the being Ricardo thing. That's the only one that I can really single out and be like, probably shouldn't have done that. That seemed a little crazy. And they had ones they could have gone with. Stillwater, for some reason, came out and everybody thought it was terrible. I thought it was one of the best movies of the year.
Don't get it.
Matt Damon is fantastic in it. I get that people were like, he's just playing a redneck and he's Matt Damon. But he does a very good job in it. I like those kind of movies that focus on people like that. I like Southern stories. And I usually give them a little bit higher ratings than most of these other people who watch movies do, because I just kind of like seeing that stuff. Even if something's not that good, like for most people, Hillbilly Elegy, I get people had issues with, but I didn't mind it because people don't make those movies anymore, so who gives a shit?
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
But so I was one of those. I'm not getting in a discourse with anybody, but if I can sit down and watch a movie set in that world and it's got good acting, yeah, I'll enjoy it. And I'm not saying Hillbilly Elegy is great or anything. Wasn't even the one that was nominated. Stillwater is great, and I think
it is great.
I've watched it several times since it came out. And I think the ending gets better and better the more you watch it. I think there's really something that they are truly saying in that ending, and a lot of that comes through in Matt Damon's performance.
It's a single sentence, and he nails it.
Yeah.
I 100% want Denzel Washington to win. I'm not saying that it's the best performance of these, because like I said, I've not seen it yet. But in terms of who I'm rooting for to win, would it be cool if Andrew Garfield won one? Yeah. But like Christian's saying, Tick Tick Boom seems like kind of a weird one for him to just get up there and be like, I've worked all my life, and
don't make good stuff.
I know everyone and their mother looks at this and it's like, oh, this is Will Smith's time, and it's mostly people are looking at it like that because Will Smith wants you to look at it like that.
Yes.
Will Smith wants this stupid statue. Will Smith thinks this stupid statue somehow validates his entire career, where he's had great performances and made money at the box office and been this charismatic person, but he thinks this golden statue will give him something that truly cements him as being great. It's weird. And King Richard was a great movie for a kind of movie that King Richard is, but for it to be your, hey, I'm Will Smith and I just got a damn Oscar, it seems a little random. Would I be completely fine and excited for Will Smith if Will Smith won? Yes, I'm a fan of Will Smith. But I think Denzel Washington is arguably the greatest actor who's ever lived. Yeah. And he's in that conversation, full stop. It would be awesome if he had a third Oscar. A second best leading actor nomination, I think would be awesome, and I think it's something that should have already happened.
It'd be cool too for Macbeth. I mean, it's like, what a story.
And it's kind of a similar thing that I'm rooting for him. Kind of like Sylvester Stallone year when he was nominated for Creed, and for some reason they thought, yeah, Mark Rylance, he's barely in movies, so when he shows up and does a great job in one, we should just give him one. No, you're allowed to celebrate Sylvester Stallone giving his life to acting and creating movies. You're allowed to reward people for that.
Now we get to Best Picture. Belfast, Coda, Drive My Car, Don't Look Up, Doom, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. I have thoughts. Going into the nomination morning, if Coda, Don't Look Up, and Being the Ricardos, which again, fine at best, had been nominated, I would have deemed this a lousy list. But I should have known that they weren't going to nominate Being the Ricardos. I know there was all this talk about it, but the Academy, when it comes down to it, really doesn't like Aaron Sorkin that much. His movie, Trial of the Chicago 7 last year, was one of the frontrunners for Best Picture, not nominated for Best Director. He wrote a tremendous script for Steve Jobs. Out of the conversation. He wrote the script for A Few Good Men, which is a classic. Not nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. He has an Oscar, so they can't hate him that much. But I should have suspected that this movie, which is probably maybe like his 7th best script, would not get recognized for Best Original Screenplay or Best Picture, and guess what? It was not. Again, I thought this would have been a lousy year if all 3 of those, 2 of those were still up there. So my eyes rolled, as you saw. But I do think that the Nightmare Alley inclusion is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. It was nominated for production design, cinematography, and costume design.
Rightfully so.
And Best Picture, which gathered Bradley Cooper's 9th Oscar nomination.
My
Woo!
God.
But
Didn't Denzel just get nominated for 10?
10, yeah. But this is Bradley Cooper getting.
Yeah.
This is Bradley Cooper getting 9 Oscar nominations in like less than 10 years.
Yeah, and like no.
That's fucking crazy. So I'm pleased for Belfast, Dune, Licorice Pizza, Power of the Dog, King Richard, and especially West Side Story. Making this Steven Spielberg's 12th Best Picture nominee, I should mention. The guy can make a hell of a movie. I personally think it's the year's best movie. What I find interesting about Don't Look Up is I think the highlight is the star power, such as the incomparable Georgia Lyman.
How could you forget?
I know, right? Not a single cast member was nominated. So, what do we enjoy about it?
The screenplay, that's what it was. It was
In the editing, oh yes, and the shots of nature and people irritated.
fat people throwing stuff away.
The ending that is, you're aware of before you enter the theater. And I think the Best Picture category should highlight the best in film. But since there's only 2 that are so-so, I guess I'll give them the point. And I haven't seen one. So, okay, where do we stand?
This year, Last Night in Soho, that was my favorite movie of the year, probably. Obviously not in these conversations. And then my other 2 movies, No Time to Die and Spiderman No Way Home. Now, I'm not somebody who just likes these franchise movies and acts like these are the only movies that matter. That's not why they're my number 2 and 3. I feel like these 2 movies in particular are not only really good movies, they're also doing things that franchise filmmaking has not done. When seemingly you think, what the hell are you talking about, Bryce? This is all franchise filmmaking is. No. No Time to Die does some absolutely incredible, insane things, especially in its final act. And it's built up over the course of 3 movies. And I know there's more than 3 Daniel Craig movies. But mostly, this arc in particular is developed over these 3 movies of Daniel Craig's. And it comes into fruition beautifully here. And I know that people have quibbles with this or that, little things, that this wasn't a James Bond movie. Daniel Craig isn't James Bond. He's not being James Bond, blah, blah, blah. And that's stuff they've been saying for a decade. And I kind of was, before I had actually watched Daniel Craig's James Bond stuff. But anyway,
that's all it takes.
I had finished them before I saw No Time to Die. And what they end up building up to is fantastic. And it is a drama more than a James Bond movie, so I understand the quibble with that potentially. But it's also got good James Bond stuff. So let's not pretend like it doesn't have good James Bond stuff as well. But if there's a Bond movie that comes out later that is better, cool. But there's not going to be a Bond movie that comes out that will ultimately do what this Bond movie did in the way that this Bond movie did. And that's why I think it should be celebrated. I understand if you didn't like it, I guess, but I really also don't understand. So
I think it's great.
I thought that was a 10 out of 10 movie, and y'all can call me an idiot, whatever you want. I thought that was really well done and deserves a Best Picture nomination. But I know the Oscars doesn't nominate stuff like that. But in terms of being one of the 10 best movies of the year, as a universal thought, not just somebody's list, I think as a universal thought, this was for sure one of the 10 best movies of the year. Same with Spider-Man No Way Home. I get that it has some ridiculous stuff, and it is kind of more of a jokey movie. You might not want to group it in with these more serious stuff, but we have fucking Don't Look Up nominated, so shut up. Spider-Man No Way Home does something really good that franchise filmmaking has not explored yet, but is probably getting ready to explore to a ridiculous extent.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will, in hindsight, make me be like, well, maybe Spider-Man No Way Home wasn't that good. But honestly, the fact that it's the first thing, and it's about something that I really, really care about, and it's something that is I realize it is a lot of nostalgia too. And I'm not the only person that has this nostalgia. This is something that a lot of people in this community thought was a big deal. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is what I'm specifically talking about. But also, the fact that they have Andrew Garfield done so beautifully, and included with all of their villains, and everybody has their scenes. Everybody has their moments. You have this really well done relationship of the three Spider-Man, and they all encompass Spider-Man over the last 20 years on film, and it is fantastic the way they've done it. They structured it really well, I feel like. It also allowed Tom Holland to finally have a truly great Spider-Man movie. It allowed him to have his own actual arc and his own actual weight through incorporating these other characters. So it's not like it was just done to be like, hey, let's put a bunch of Spider-Man on the movie. I feel like it actually helped the movie and actually worked in a dramatic way and actually gave you real payoff. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just some blockbuster thing where you're like, holy crap, they got all the guys back. Fantastic. Hooray. It made sense with the story and told a great movie. I think it is a truly great movie. And it's just a movie that most people have seen this year, universally. I guarantee you that's the most
Whereas that's
movie that most people have seen.
It's great.
Yeah, the equal. Yeah,
I think both of those movies.
I think it juggles everything really well,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's not just that they made a really fun Spider-Man movie and a really good Bond movie. They did stuff that should be mentioned and rewarded as far as filmmaking goes in those movies. Hollywood might learn a stupid lesson from No Way Home and make a bunch of stuff that we don't need and just throwing every ridiculous crossovers at the wall and unearthing people that shouldn't be on Earth. Yeah, they might do something like that, and I might regret saying this, but they do a great job of it, and you can tell they gave a crap about the people and the movie that they were making. I do think that those movies should be mentioned as 10 best movies of the year. I get that Best Picture nominations to the Oscars are completely different than just saying, oh, these were the 10 best movies of the year. But at the heart of it, that's what you're doing. You're saying, these are the 10 best movies of the year. Anyway, that was my ridiculous take for this episode. But I mean it. So.
It wasn't, because I think both No Time to Die and Spider-Man No Way Home are better than a lot of the movies that they chose to nominate.
Yeah.
And I think that would have gathered viewership, but maybe they don't really care about that anymore.
Whatever.
Dumb, good luck. But yeah. No, I agree with you. I thought both of those movies were great, and they both made my top 10. So, I love them both. Especially No Time to Die, I think. That one is... I think both movies are special, though, if I'm being honest. Like, I sat there during both films, and I was like, this is good. And I don't know how people will make of it, or I don't know what people will make of it, but I think they're both damn good.
I guess my only final thoughts would be that last year the Oscars were in a train station, and I'm not too sure how much longer this ceremony is going to go or be televised. So I hope it keeps going so we can keep doing these shows. But it doesn't look too good in the future if they're going to keep nominating stuff that no one's seen or cares about or likes.
Coda.
Yeah, no one's heard of that.
I am that asshole that is not that big on that movie. It just mostly got on my nerves, and I don't know why we're still talking about it. But maybe I'll rewatch it, and I'll realize that I was that asshole, and we will go on with our lives, and that's fine. I'll make this brief. Licorice Pizza only has 3 nominations. That just seems weird. That seems like something better suited for something like Coda. Again, we couldn't have nominated No Time to Die. It was fun and emotional. Not exactly gaining viewership with these nominations. Yeah, I will also say, if we are bummed about Denis Villeneuve not getting Best Director for Dune, he is nominated twice for producing and writing. So, okay, I guess. Also, Will Smith is nominated twice. Beyonce and Billie Eilish are now Oscar nominees. I do actually like her song in that movie. But
That's the only thing that they did to bring people in, is the Beyonce and
I honestly think
But
so.
they could have had Ariana Grande.
Exactly!
Yeah.
It really ties a gorgeous bow on this entire thing. That's what we led with. It's true. You could have Ariana Grande, Beyonce, and Billie Eilish.
And Billy.
Billie Eilish. But anyways, you could have had all three of them, and you could have pulled people in.
Whatever.
For 2.5 hours.
We had to nominate Diane Warren again because you wrote a song. And
Oh, damn, that's actually a point I meant to mention. Yeah, you nominated Diane Warren for like the 100th time, and she's just going to sit there.
not win again.
And not win again for a movie that nobody has seen except for me. Good night.